is here to talk technology. Ben Aylitz, benaylitz.com, 1L, 2 T's in Aylitz. Good
That's
evening.
Right. G'day, Chris. How you going?
Good. Before we go any further, Thelma has been waiting to have a chat to you. Hi, Thelma.
Hi, Ben. Look, I hope you can help me. I don't know quite what to do.
I'll give it a shot.
My Windows 10 jammed up, so I took it to my local computer guy, and he got it running again. When I got home, I was unable to connect my NBN and my printer, so I called a well-known tech guy, and he, I've used him before, so I thought I'd be okay. On arrival, the tech guy connected my NBN, my printer, my email, which was originally a free one, so I thought that's what he would connect me back up with. I have two different email addresses, one on my computer, one on my phone, and they are not linked together. While the tech guy was attending my computer, he picked up my mobile phone, which I quickly said to him, please don't link them together, they need to be separate. The next day I found the email format was different, so I rang and left a message with no reply. 1 week later, I found out my email address is asking for renewal. So I called the guy again several times with no reply.
Okay.
I knew then that I didn't have any free email anymore. I paid the tech guy $180 with no receipt, no service. My mobile phone and computer are linked together. My computer's a mess, and I have paid out over $400. What should I do?
Sheesh.
Wow.
Dave Hilliard from Consumer Protection. Be a good start.
Yeah. This is not so much a technical problem. This is more to do with a customer service problem or a small claims problem, I would say.
He's on the program this time on Wednesday night this week too, by the way. Make a note of that, Thelma, because part of that's definitely, without question, a consumer issue.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Thelma's technical issues, now this is where you can help, Ben.
Yeah, okay. So, without saying the first part of your email address, the email addresses you're using, is it at gmail.com or at outlook.com?
Sorry, it's really hard to hear you.
I'm sorry.
No, your email address, it's at something. We don't want to know the first part of it.
Yep.
The second part, like mine is chrisI@6PR. We want to know what your at is. Are you at Gmail? Are you at IINet?
No, at Gmail.
At Gmail, right.
And right. Aussie Mail.
And Aussie at Aussie Mail. Okay. And are you an Aussie Mail subscriber at the moment as well?
Yes.
Okay, so you're paying for your Aussie Mail access, which should include a free email address. Does that make sense?
That should be free.
Well, yeah, so you pay for the subscription.
Yeah.
Okay, so you pay so many dollars a month to get your internet into the house.
Oh, no, not normally, no, it was free.
The internet was free?
Yes. Oh, no, my email. Oh, no, I paid that with my phone bill, yes.
Right. Okay, so you go to Aussie Mail.
I connected to Outlook. I suppose it was, I'm not okay with tech, but I guess what I'm saying, my connection to Outlook to get my emails, yeah.
Right.
So I had to buy is it Outlook thing for free? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. So you had to buy the Outlook program.
Yes, and I had a free one before.
Okay. That would have been Outlook Express that you had before.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, or Live Mail. Okay, so as we upgrade from Windows XP to Windows 7 and then up to Windows 10, we do eventually see things that are free like Outlook Express. That falls to the wayside, and if we want email, we either use a web-based email, which is really quite easy to use, or we go to a paid program. So something like Outlook is one of those things, and you do actually have to pay for that program because, let's face it, Microsoft does not do their stuff for free. Well, not much of it anyway. So, yeah, you do have to pay for the program. There are other options that we could have gone for. So we could have stuck with webmail and set up a nice little interface for that, or we could have gone for a free email program like Thunderbird, which is quite popular as well.
Yeah. Well, I just know it was free before, and when I went back to my local computer guy, he said Windows 10 comes with a free one.
Oh, yeah, it does come with a free email program. Yeah, Windows Mail, I think it's called. I I hardly ever use it because I really don't like the way it works. It's a little bit clunky for me, but other people enjoy it, and there's nothing wrong with that one either. So how long have you had Outlook for? When did you pay for that software?
Oh, I've just paid because when the guy came, I don't know what he put on. I don't understand computers, but when I took to someone else, said, well, you're going to have to pay for one. So then I pay $100 or close to $100 for Outlook.
For Office 365, does that ring a bell?
How much?
Sorry, the program, I have a feeling what you've done is that you've subscribed to a software program called Office 365. It's a Microsoft product, so it is legitimate, but it gives you Outlook with Word and Excel and all the other programs that come with Microsoft Office, and Outlook is one of them, and that's an annual subscription. So, yeah, we're typically looking at about $90 for a single user.
Yeah, that's about what I paid, $99 I think.
There we go. That's what's happened. So you've paid $99 for a year of access to Office 365, which is Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, and all the other fun stuff you get to play with through Microsoft Office. All right, so
I don't,
if you don't, okay, so do you use Word or Excel?
I use Word.
You use Word, okay. So there's probably some value in that for you. So the computer guy probably hasn't communicated it properly, but that is probably the best way to go for you. That is to go for the subscription service, which will give you access to Word and Outlook. And then anything else outside of that, you're welcome to use because it's included in the subscription. So that's Excel and all the other stuff. But that's usually pretty good value for money, that yearly subscription thing. Now, as far as the other stuff goes, having accounts linked and other things messed with, you may have to go back to whoever helped you out to see if you can either get them to fix it for nothing or ask for a full or partial refund for the services and get someone else in to do the job.
And if you don't have any luck with that, if that person is a bit recalcitrant, get back onto us. So ask them, if you wouldn't mind, Thelma, ask them tomorrow or Wednesday morning so you can give us a buzz on Wednesday evening when Dave Hilliard from Consumer Protection is on. So if there's a problem, we'll be able to get it sorted there and then. And then my suggestion is then that you give Ben a call because at least he'll do the job properly because clearly this other clown isn't. But first thing to do, make sure that you get something done about it. If you won't come to the party or if you get fed another pile of BS and you think, well, the only thing I'm going to be able to do with what you're saying, mates, grow roses, get back onto us and we'll get him sorted out for you.
What is your word on the street?
I think a few weeks ago someone said they were taking the speed humps out in Fitzgerald Street. Well, yes.
6PR. This is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley.
Yeah, his website, by the way, is benaylett.com, 1L2 T's in Aylett.
That's right.
That's where you'll find all of his contact information, all sorts of interesting stuff,
Yes.
such as the Yagan Square Porn Hub incident. Why don't we call it Yagan Porngate?
Yeah.
Kind of works.
Yeah, we could.
Well, everyone has to give some sort of a name to something. A little bit unoriginal, but hey, it explains it. I suppose the key factor is here, Pornhub,
Yes.
a porn website or a porn collection site was put up.
Yes.
The question, of course, most people are asking, and let's face it, people from the state government are running around like headless chooks asking this question, how did it get up there? Now, clearly, somebody who's half smart did it.
Well,
although something tells me...
not even that.
When I say half smart, meaning in the world of what you can do with computers and IT, this actually isn't that fabulous. It's something pretty routine, really.
Well, it was... it wasn't a particularly complex hack at all. I'm not even going to use the word hack with any sort of reverence at all, really.
Without going into intimate details, lest the state government have conniptions.
Yep.
In simple but not telling you how to do it terms, how'd they do it?
Oh, look, there's really nothing to it whatsoever. So let's say you've got a Windows 10 computer. This is stuff everyone can do at home.
Yep.
You go to your Windows 10 computer, something with a touch screen.
Yep.
And you yank out the keyboard. Okay? And then you tap on a field, on a web page or a field anywhere, and guess what happens? You'll have an on-screen keyboard pop up.
Yeah.
This is because Windows 10 is really, really helpful. It says, okay, you don't have a keyboard plugged in. No worries. I'll give you one on the screen that you can touch, and you can just use like a normal keyboard.
In the case of this stuff at Yagan Square,
Yep.
wouldn't it be done remotely from somewhere else?
No. No, not at all.
Why not? That's the first thing I'd want. I would want those to be simply display screens and nothing else.
Yes, you would. But the way they've implemented it, by what I'm seeing, it looks like they haven't done that. So it looks like it's
Do you mean to say anyone?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That is funny.
So what looks like has happened, and I'm just going on the guesses based on what I've seen.
Yeah.
They have got a Windows 10 PC, a nice, massive, big touch screen. I'm going to give them props for that. That's a really nice touch screen. And they've gone and whacked it into that little upright thing that everything sits in.
Yep.
And they powered it up, hooked it up to the internet, and Bob's your uncle, we got ourselves a touchscreen kiosk. The downside is they didn't do what we in the business call hardening.
But wouldn't you buy anything like that that's public, wouldn't it just be standard practice that you block porn?
Not so much block porn, just whitelist things. So if they were running an application, they would have done things like use a different type of on-screen keyboard. If you've got to type something in, make sure that when you type something, when you bring up the keyboard, it doesn't have those magical keys like the Windows key or the Control and Escape key or the Control and the Alt and the Delete key. Those sorts of keys can fire off functions which will then allow someone to do something like pop open a web browser.
But hang on a second. If you know all this stuff,
yeah,
and you're talking about it like it's really basic 1A type stuff,
yeah,
surely those responsible for installing these would also know what you know. Surely they would have also said, we need to do this as a matter of routine, or at least put it in the documentation. This is what we've done. This is why we've done it. If we don't do this, this is what people can do, and this is potentially what could happen.
Yeah. Look, I'm not too sure because I can't really comment on where the installers came from or the people who designed the system.
No, I understand that, but they are IT people, aren't they?
I would hope so.
And if they weren't, well, more fool them.
Yeah. It just feels like to me that it was a project that was rushed.
Cheap and nasty.
Well, cheap maybe, nasty maybe. I mean, they did spend a fair bit of money on this.
Yeah, it doesn't
they
mean
probably
that it's
ran out
not
of money
cheap
when it
and
came
nasty.
to configuring things. So they might have gone, look, okay, computer, big screen,
what can we
whack
get
it and
away
done.
with? That's the term. What can we get away with? Mate, whenever you want to find a problem, I'm telling you right now, go look for the penny pinching. That's where the problem starts.
Possibly,
every time. No, sorry, I disagree. Not possibly, every time. You want to find a problem with something, someone penny pinched. It's inevitable.
Yeah, I tend to agree. So it does.
And here's the other thing. When there's a computer somebody is going to go and try and do something like this. That is also inevitable.
Yeah, and you ask anyone in JB Hi-Fi or the Apple store or any other computer store where you've got all these dozens of laptops all lined up and all these tablets lined up.
What do people do?
How do you guys control it? They have people on it all the time, and if there's a problem, they hit a special key combination. It winds the computer back to a previous state, and it's done. And it's back in a nice, fresh, pristine state.
And I bet if you talk to some of those people, they can tell you some wonderful stories about things people have tried to do.
They could, yeah. I mean, some of the stuff people manage to get away with for maybe a few minutes. Yeah. And then, of course, I don't think the guy, whoever did this, I don't think they're going to get away scot-free, because they would have had to have had their hands on the screens in order to make this happen.
But lots of people had their hands on the screen.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's surveillance.
Yeah.
And it's not something you can put on a timer. You say, okay, I'm going to type in www.pornhub.com, and it flashes up, and it should be really easy to tell with surveillance when it actually happened and who did it, and you'll be able to track them as they walk through the CBD.
But here's the point. What they did is not illegal.
No. God. It's a
website.
Yep.
The only time it might be illegal is if the person who did it is under 18.
Yeah,
and even then, the government's liable because they had a public computer that could access porn.
Yeah.
When they could block porn sites quite easily.
Yeah, so...
I mean, all they had to do was put a net nanny on there, for God's sake.
Oh, God, don't put net nanny on anything. It's terrible. It's terrible software. It's just
It is terrible software, but in this case, better than nothing.
Yeah, whitelisted. So if you don't need a web browser, block it. Have a restricted account. There are
not that
ways
hard
to do it.
for you blokes do it all the time.
Yeah, it's not hard. And I was actually surprised that they used Windows 10 in the first place. You can use systems that are better suited to a kiosk use, like Linux.
Yep.
And that can be customized to a point where it will do just what you want it to do and nothing else.
I wonder if they just run that off another license that they had for some system in the office somewhere, and that was another way of cheapening it, Ben.
The license would have come with the computer when they bought it. That's how it would have worked. That's my guess.
From the line in the song, "Ooh, it makes me wonder."
It's Gareth Parker here, and if you shop at Coles, Bunnings...
This is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley on 882 6PR.
Yeah, James Bent sent us an email. He said, morning, well, actually, evening, gentlemen.
Evening, James.
He said, I went to Yagan Square this afternoon for a visit, saw a maintenance guy working on the screen on which Pornhub appeared.
Right.
Why would he be working on the screen?
Don't know. I think maybe they've looked at what they've done. They've gone, we completely buggered this one up. This is how we're going to fix it. We're going to redo it.
You'd have to be happy, wouldn't you? Because what we've done successfully is we've highlighted issues surrounding security.
Yes. Cybersecurity is one of these things that I'm really, really passionate about. And I'd actually like to offer whoever did it, once the authorities have tried to have a go at you, and once we've identified who you are, I'd like to buy you a beer, because what you've done is you've raised the concept, the awareness of cybersecurity with a mostly harmless prank. So well done to whoever did it. Oh. Thanks very much.
G'day, Luke.
Oh, hello.
G'day, Luke.
How are you, Chris?
Good, mate.
Anyhow, back to whether it was a prank or not, or maybe it was just accidental. But the fact of the matter is Pornhub have had a lovely, what do you call it? Everyone's talking about them. So
So what you're talking about is they've had so much mainstream media promotion, more than they've ever had in their life. They'd have to be pretty happy about it as well.
Well, I think they get enough as it is. But besides that, all I'm trying to say is probably 10 years ago, or 5 or 8 years ago, my daughter came home and said that she had to do a survey for work on Australian bands. And so we said to my daughter, AC/DC, we said another one and another band. Yep. When we typed in AC/DC, there was a woman whipping a man that was tied up in chains and leather. So what I'm trying to say is you don't know what you're looking for sometimes. So maybe it was just an accident.
Oh, I see where you're going. Yeah.
And even one of the bank, there was one for a bank. There was like the same initials for a bank.
Yep.
And the same thing happened. So you have to be very careful when you type any numbers into a computer.
Oh, you're right, because a friend of mine...
you wouldn't believe what comes up.
Oh, no, you're right. And I take your point on that, Luke, because a friend of mine got it in his head for some reason. I don't know why, it's still the 8th wonder of the world. But anyway, got it in his head he could grow peas. I have no idea why, so he decides to go on the internet to look up how to grow peas. Right. You know how peas are spelt P-A-S?
Yeah.
He put 2 E's in.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
He's still in counselling.
Yeah. Oh, man. You got to be so careful with what you Google.
I think Google are getting better at sort of taking the non-smut option over the smut option now, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they're getting better at that, I hope. I never look at that stuff, so I wouldn't know.
No, you've been in computers for 25 years. Nobody ever bought their computer to you that was full of viruses because they'd been to porn.com about 50,000 times and you wouldn't want to begin to know what they've imported.
Now, I did spend some time in some remote country towns. And
that's right. Blame remote country towns. People are isolated from the world. Yeah.
No, it's not so much the country town as to blame. It's just country towns. They present a different scenario in which I'm called. So I'd get a call from some guy I know, and it'd be a panicked voice on the other end of the line says, Ben, you've got to help me. All these bad windows keep popping up on my computer. I've buggered it up, and the wife's going to be flying in from Perth. In about 2 hours, can you help me, please? So I usually have to drop everything.
In other words, can you remove the malware that I got from the porn site that's putting all of these pop-ups on my screen?
Yeah. So, if any of those guys are listening, I got your back. I got you guys sorted out, and we won't speak of it ever again except on radio. How's that?
Yes. You just got to wonder about stuff like that, though, don't you?
No, not really. Yeah. Nothing surprises me anymore.
It was good for you. Yeah. Turn up and say, oh, yes, you do have a problem. What's in it for me?
Oh, look, no, a lot of these people I actually knew. So I'm not that sort of, hey, you got yourself in a really deep bucket of you know what, and it's going to cost you double to get you out. No.
You've never been like that, have you?
No, I can't do that. Because one day is going to come around when I'm going to need something
that's right.
done quickly.
No, that's exactly right.
That's how I play my game, nice and straight.
The other issue is just in the couple of minutes we've got left, Facebook this week are going to start talking to people about how they can secure stuff. One of the areas that they're talking about, securing things like apps. Now, a lot of the apps that appear on Facebook required people to agree to allow third-party access. As I'm reading what they're saying now is that Facebook are going to say, no, you have the right to say no to third-party access. And if these apps want to stay on Facebook, they will agree to it. No third-party access.
What they're planning on doing is they're putting more control back in the hands of the users, the people who provide this data, and I believe that's the way it should be. So the controls are going to be in the news feed, they're going to be in your timeline, not buried under a whole bunch of menus off to one side. So you will be able to say to that particular app, yes, you can have my name, but you can't have my email address, my phone number, and you can't see any of the details of my friends. So this is where things really went south, is when Cambridge Analytica and the people who devised the apps for them to use, they not only were grabbing the information of the people using the surveys, they were also getting the information of those friends of those people. So instead of the 87 million people or whatever it was that actually used the app, it blew out to well over a couple of 100 million because they were going to those people's networks and opening it right up. So Facebook's really brought the hammer down on that. And any apps that haven't been used in 3 months will be cut off from that user's feed. So they'll lose access to the information. So it's something they can't keep pulling all that information if that app. Yep.
So even if you do consent, if you stop using that app for 3 months, that's it. They won't be receiving any.
That's right.
Whereas before, even though you weren't using the app, it was still updating itself and collecting up-to-date information.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years down the track, it's still sucking in data and it's still pulling information based on what you're doing at the time. So that's Facebook's going to be putting a stop to that, which I think is a fantastic move. That's what they needed to do, and they actually needed to do this a long time ago. So I'm actually pretty pleased with the direction Facebook is taking. And the Delete Facebook campaign, well, look, you can delete Facebook if you want, but it's not going to actually make a difference. The population on Facebook, the number of people using Facebook on a daily basis is over 2 billion. So even if we have 100 million people walk away from Facebook, it's not going to make any difference.
No.
It's going to make it. It's just zero drop in the ocean. And this big story when it first came out, when Elon Musk was alerted to the fact that he had a Tesla page on Facebook and he went and deleted that Tesla page, it makes zero difference to the actual user base within Facebook because all you're doing, he was just taking away one place where those billions of people could visit Facebook. It's just so... Yeah, don't get all sort of excited about this Delete Facebook campaign because it's really not going to do much. But thankfully, what we're getting out of it is better control over how our data is being used and shared with other parties.
Which is what should have happened in the first place.
Absolutely.
So this was the problem. And the other thing that I think also comes out of this is we're going to have to address the issue of terms and conditions.
Yeah.
There is one person I know who's read the terms and conditions on Facebook. Took him 2 days to do it.
Boy.
Right. Now, if that's the case, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
My friend, as always, an absolute pleasure. We'll have a chat again next week.
I'll catch you then.
By the way, benaylett.com is the website. Like I said, 1 L, 2 T's in Aylett, benaylett.com. And it's on that website that you'll also find all of Ben's contact information.